of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, read by Gary Sinise.
His huge companion dropped his blankets and flung himself down and drank from the surface of the green pool, drank with long gulps, snorting into the water like a horse. The small man stepped nervously beside him. He said sharply. Lenny continued to snort into the pool. The small man leaned over and shook him by the shoulder.
Lenny, you're gonna be sick like you was last night.
Lenny dipped his whole head under, hat and all, and then he sat up on the bank and his hat dripped down his blue coat and ran down his back. He said. He smiled happily. George unslung his bindle and dropped it gently on the bank.
Very good water,
He said.
looks kinda scummy.
Lenny dabbled his big paw in the water and wiggled his fingers so that the water rose in little splashes. Rings widened across the pool to the other side and came back again. Lenny watched them go. George knelt beside the pool and drank from his hand with quick scoops.
Tastes alright.
He admitted.
Don't really seem to be running, though. You never ought to drink water when it ain't running, Lenny.
He said hopelessly.
You'd drink like a beaver if you was thirsty.
He threw a scoop of water into his face and rubbed it about with his hand, under his chin and around the back of his neck. Then he replaced his hat, pushed himself back from the river, drew up his knees, and embraced them. Lenny, who had been watching, imitated George exactly. He pushed himself back, drew up his knees, embraced them, looked over to George to see whether he had it just right. He pulled his hat down a little more over his eyes, the way George's hat was. George stared morosely at the water. The rims of his eyes were red with sun glare. He said angrily,
We could just as well road clear to the ranch if that bastard bus driver knew what he was talking about. Just a little stretch down the highway, he says. Just a little stretch, goddamn near 4 miles, that's what it was. Didn't want to stop at the ranch gate, that's what. Too goddamn lazy to pull up. Wonder he isn't too damn good to stop at Soledad at all. Kicks us out and says just a little stretch down the road. I bet it was more than 4 miles. Damn hot day.
Lenny looked timidly over to him.
Yeah, what you want?
The little man jerked down the brim of his hat and scowled over at Lenny.
Oh, you forgot that already, did you? I gotta tell you again, do I, Jesus Christ, you're a crazy bastard.
Lenny said softly.
Okay, I'll tell you again. I ain't got nothing to do. Might as well spend all my time telling you things, and then you forget them, and then I tell you again.
Said Lenny,